Hello students, this is Professor Urvish Mewada, HOD Electrical Department, Sri Swaminarayan Institute of Technology, Bhat Gandhinagar. I am the subject matter of Interconnected Power System, which is in the Electrical Engineering 7th semester GTU, and the subject code of the Interconnected Power System is 2170901. Students, in previous parts we studied about the chapter number 1, that was basics of interconnected power system. Now today we'll start with the chapter number 2, power system matrices. So in power system matrices, the topic number 1 is explanation of the graph theory and primitive network. Now, before we start the explanation of the graph, we should know we should know about why we use the graph theory and primitive network solutions for the interconnected power system. So generally, the interconnected power system is, as per the name, interconnected means it is a large system. So interconnection means what? All the generating stations of different states are connected to each other, means all generating stations are connected parallelly with each other, so that is called interconnected power system. So basically that power system consists the number of generators, transformers and transmission lines, uh, and which operates at the different voltage level. So due to such connections, the interconnected power system analysis is very difficult, because uh, by interconnecting all the generating stations, the circuit will become complex and the analysis of that interconnected power system will become difficult. So therefore the power system network may be solved easily with the help of graph theory. So generally, why we applied this graph theory? Because in the interconnected power system, as you all know, that the why we interconnect the all the generating stations to fulfill the load and generation demand, means to maintain the ratio of load, means demand and generation. So as we connect the all the generating stations in the interconnected manner, so due to that, that circuit will become complex, and whenever we want to solve that circuit, we need to use graph theory. So therefore we will study the graph theory first. So we start with the topic graph or a power system network. So here one network is shown. So from this you can see that in this network we have two voltage sources, V1 and V2. Basically we can consider it as a generators. Now L1, L2, L3 and L4 all are the elements which are connected with the generating stations V1 and V2. Now as the neutral of the both generating stations are connected each other, so that is, this point is called zero potential point, or we can say ground potential. Now generally graph represent the geometrical structure, means from this we can from this complex network we convert this complex network into the single line diagram. So this geometrical structure of the power system means this is the network. We convert this network into this geometrical network, so this will become easy. Now it is describe how the various power system components are connected, or we can say interconnected to one form or to each other. So see, this is the diagram from which uh, we cannot say this is the small diagram, so we can easily say that, okay, this line is connected with this line and this line is connected with L1, L2 and L3. But if this system is large and having means infinite numbers of generators, then it would be very difficult to say that which generating station is connected with which line. So we convert this network, means we redraw this network with single line. So from this diagram we can easily say that, see, whenever the generating stations are present in the network, that will consider as a single line, means short circuit. So this V1 is this single line, V2 is again a single line, and L1, L2 and L3, sorry, L1, L2, L3 are 4 are the replaced with the single line. So this is the graph of this particular network. Now in graph, generally all the components of elements are presented as a line, and the terminals are called the nodes. So this points where the two elements meets, these points are called the nodes. Now the definition of the graph from the previous diagram, the diagram that gives the power system network geometry and uses line with dots, means we used we used a single line diagram for the network, and we use the we use element, or we can say we denote or draw elements with the help of single line, and where the two elements are meeting, that is indicated with the dots. So at end to represent the network elements is usually called the graph, means that is called the graph of particular network. Now here we are taking one example. So from this example you can more brief to the, or we can say more detail, you will get the idea about how to convert the network into the graph. So in this network you can see we have two generating stations, means both are in line, and the third generating station which is connected with the bus number 2. So first of all, this is the generating station 1, this is generating station 2, this is the generating station 3. Now the this 1, 2 and 3 are the buses of the system. Now this generating station G1 is connected with this bus, and then after it is connected with the transformer 1, then the transformer is again connected with the bus. With this bus we have two transmission lines and one generating station, means G2, and two transmission lines again connected with the bus number 3, and with the bus number 3 generating station 3 is connected. Now if we want to draw a graph theory, a graph for this particular network, then as I told, as I already explained you in the previous slide, all the neutrals of the generating stations can be short circuited and can be connected at one potential. So this G1, G2 and G3, means one terminal is taken as a common, and this is called the reference node, or we can say ground potential or zero potential node. Now after G1 we have the bus number 1, means we are starting from this side. So G1, after G1 we have the bus number 1, and after bus number 1 we have the T1. So it is again connected, drawn with a single line, means it is T1. Then after T1 we have the bus number 2. So this is the bus number 2. On bus number 2 we have the line 1 and line 2. So these are the line 1 and line 2. And with this bus 2 we have one more generator, that is G2. So the G2 is connected with this bus, and then these two lines are connected with the bus number 3. So this is the bus number 3, and the return of this generator is connected with the G2's neutral. So this is how we can draw the graph of a particular power system network. So from this you can easily calculate complex network, or we can say easily you can calculate any complex network with the help of graph theory. And the generators are connected between the reference node, means 0, and the nodes and the node number are in circle. So here you can see that these are the numbers, both are indicated with the circle. Buses are indicated with the circle, and nodes are indicated with the number. So this is the node number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and these are the buses number 1, 2 and 3. Now the definitions related to the graph theory, such kind of theories are repeatedly asked in the GTU exam. So it is very important for you. So the element, means here we are taking that previous diagram for the reference. So this one we are taking as a reference, and from this we will write the definition related to the graph theory. So the first definition related to the graph theory is element. So elements of the graph, here all the elements are indicated with a single line. So each elements which are present in the network are replaced by a single line segment, and each line segments called the element. Means in this we have 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 elements are connected, and each voltage source of any network that we for we are drawing the graph is replaced by the short circuit, and each current source replaced by the open circuit. If current sources are present in this network, so we can draw that current source as a open circuit, and if we have any voltage source in the network, so we have to draw this voltage source with the help of short circuit. Now here the definition number 2 is node. So in the node, this is the diagram. For this we are writing the node. So a point at which two or more elements have a common connection. So here you can see that at this point we have two elements are connected. This is the common point. Again, this is the common point for this two any elements. This is the common point for this three element. This is the common point for this three elements. So here we are writing the nodes by the circle, means number 1 2 and 3 and 4. So if the power system network having total number of nodes n, means if this number is having 4 nodes, so it is always consider one node at ground potential. So here we are considering number 4 as a ground potential, and the remaining n minus 1 means this is 4, so 4 minus 1 means 3 are the buses at which the source power is injected. So at this 3 point the source power is injected, and this point will act as a ground potential node. So these are the node of this particular diagram or graph. Now the third important definition is subgraph. So basically subgraph is a subset of the branch and nodes of the graph. So we are taking one part from the graph. So this is one part, this is again a second part. We can draw the third part like this from this. So you can see over here this. So this is the subset, means it's a part of a graph, and subgraph is said to be proper if it consists of strictly less than all the elements and node of the graph. Means here we have the 4 nodes, so here this is considering only 3 nodes, over here it is considering 3 nodes, so one node is less, and less than the elements, means we have 6 elements, so we are taken over here the 3 elements, over here we have the 3 elements, so it is total less than the total elements which are present in the graph diagram. So this is the subgraph of that particular network. So why we are writing the definitions of this particular graph theory, because when we solve the example related to this graph theory, we will follow the same steps to solve any complex network with the help of graph theory. Now the fourth definition is planar and non-planar graph. So from the diagram you can easily say that this is a planar graph and this is the non-planar graph. So we'll see, let's see the definition related to this. So generally a graph drawn a two-dimensional plane, means this is the 2D diagram, and is said to be planar if the two branches do not cross over at a point which is other than a node. Means here it is crossing, but this at this point we have the node, and here the line is crossing, but at this point there is no node. So generally a graph is said to be a planar if it can be drawn on the same plane without crossover, means there is no crossover of the lines and elements over here, it means in this graph. So this graph is called the planar graph, and if any lines are crossing to each other, means that if there is no node and crossing to each other, then it is called the non-planar graph. So this is a planar graph and this is the non-planar graph. In this non-planar graph, this node is crossing with this line, and here we do not have any node, so this is called the non-planar graph. Now The the fifth definition is the closed path or loop. So basically closed path or loop is a means it's a starting means from we are suppose we are starting from this point. So a set of elements means travel from this when starting from the one node and returning to the same node from a closed path means it is called a loop. So in this, suppose we are starting from 1 and we are going to 3, 4, 2 and 1. So this is creating a loop. Similarly 1, 3, 4 and 1. So this is again a creating a loop. So 1, 2, 4, 1. So this is again a loop. So this is how we can define the loop or closed path. Now oriented graph. So this is the diagram for the oriented graph. Why it is called oriented graph? Because in this the directions are marked for the elements, means this is showing that the current is going towards this direction. So this is the direction marked for particular element. So we have in this graph we have 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 elements. So for all 6 elements the directions are indicated, and that's why it is called the oriented graph. So basically oriented graph is a graph with direction marked for each elements. Now tree. So this is again a tree, we can say this is a tree, but generally a connected graph means continuing to all nodes of the original graph but not closed path is called tree. So here you can see the diagram. See, this is the tree one. So in this we have this three lines, means these three lines are not creating a loop, and they are not means finishing, means these dotted lines are means not these are connected, but here we have we drawn it like a dotted. So from 1 to 1 to 2, 2 to 4 and 4 to 3. So this is a tree of that particular graph. Now because it doesn't have any close path, that's why it is called tree. Now the code tree of this particular diagram is code tree of 1. So except this lines, whatever the elements are left are redrawn like this. So see this line 1 2 and 3. So this and this, so this will become the code tree. Now we'll move towards the previous definition. So generally a tree has n minus 1 branches. So basically if we have the n number of nodes, say 4 nodes in this diagram we have. So we have basically 4 minus 1 means 3. So that 3 lines are the tree, and where n is the number of nodes of the graph, and the branches of a tree means these are the branches of a tree. So these branches are called the twigs or twigs. So this is the twigs, and the remaining branches of graph are called the links. So these are the remaining branch. So whenever we draw a code tree for particular tree, so we'll take the remaining branches of the tree. So this three are taken as a tree, and these three lines are called twigs, and this are called the code tree. Okay. Now uh, also the remaining branches of graphs are called links or chords. So these three are the links for particular tree, or chords generally we use to connect the elements. And the number of branches, or we can say bosses, required to form a tree is b is equal to n minus 1. So n will become the node, so 4 minus 1, so number of buses 3. So generally we require 3 lines to form a tree in this diagram, in this graph diagram. And the code tree, for code tree as I explained you, so for this tree the code tree is the remaining branches are the code tree. So for this particular diagram the remaining branches are 1 2 and 3. So this will become code tree of number 1. And for tree number 2, so this are the lines means from 1 to 4, 4 to 2, 2 to 3. So these are the nodes that we included, and n minus 1 means 4 minus 1, so 3. So basically we have the 3 lines indicates the tree, and for this tree we have the core tree is the remaining branches. So this one means 1 to 2 lines, then 1 to 3 lines, and 3 to 4 lines. So 1 to 2 lines, 1 to 3 lines, and 3 to 4 lines will become the core tree of this tree number 2. Now the links from a subgraph not necessarily connected call a tree, core tree generally. So core tree is a complement of tree, means inverse. So there is a core tree for every tree. So this is a tree for tree, for this tree we have the core tree. Now if x is the total number of elements, then the number of links are y of the connected graph will with the branch b is given by. So this will be the equation: y is the number of links, x is the total number of elements, and b is the total number of branches. So from this we have already b is equal to n minus 1 from the previous slide. So we are putting this b is equal to n minus 1, so this will become n plus 1. So y is equal to x minus n plus 1. Suppose we put n over here, suppose we have the 4 nodes, so 4 plus 1, so minus 3, so x minus 3, so y will become the links. So number that will become number of links of particular so graph diagram. So here n is the number of nodes, suppose 4, x is the number of elements, 6 elements we have the present, elements are present, and b is the number of branches of a tree. So here we have the tree 1 and tree 2. So for a tree number 2, so n minus 1 is equal to 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. So y is equal to number of links, so x minus n plus 1, so x is equal to 6, n is equal to 4 plus 1, so 3. So this will become 3. So number of links are 1, 2 and 3. So for this tree the code tree are x, x is the total number of elements. So 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 elements are present, that's why x is equal to 6 over here. And n is the number of nodes, so we have the 4 number of nodes, so 4 is we are placed over here. And we have the equation n plus 1, so minus 4 plus 1, so this will become 3. So for this tree we have the 3 links from 2 to 3, 3 to 1 and 1 to 4. So this will become the core tree of the particular graph. Now basic loops. So generally as I already explained in the previous diagram, the loops that forms the closed path, that is called the loop. So a loop is obtained whenever a link is added, means whenever this link is added in the tree. Suppose this is a tree for this graph, so suppose we add this link 1 2 3, then this will become a one loop. Then suppose I add 1 to 2 link, then this will become a loop. And if I add a link from 3 to 4, then this will become a loop. So these are the basic loops. So loops which contains only one link are called the basic loops or independent loops. So over here we have one link only, and number of basic loops equal to the number of links, means we have the three loops over here basic, so we have the 3 links 1 2 and 3. So that's why it is called number of basic loops is equal to the number of links. So here we separated each groups. So this is the first group that we drawn with the help of 1 3 and 4, and then this is one triangle, that is 4 2 and 3, and this is again the third triangle, that is 1 4 and 2. So A indicates the basic loop and B indicates the basic loop separately, means they are shown separately. Now the most important point is cut set. Now cut set is generally it is an arbitrary line that divides generally a graph in two parts. So we have already a graph, suppose this is a graph, diagram, and suppose we cut from here. So this cutting line divides this graph into two parts. So that parts can be a single branch or single node. Means suppose I am cutting from this point, so this point one is a single node. Or suppose I cutting from this side, so this 1 to 2 will become a branch. So that parts can be a single branch or a single node, but the graph should not divided more than two parts. This thing you should keep in mind while you calculate the example. You should not divide a graph means more than a two parts. Let's see how we can cut the sets. So this is a diagram for which we are cutting the uh, we are performing the cut set. So for cut set 1, so we are cutting from this side, so this is divided in two part. So we have number 1, that is node number 1, and second one we have this loops, that is 2, 3 and 4. So this is the part number 2. Now we are cutting from this side. So in this we have means we already keep in mind that we should not divide. See, we should not divide more than two parts, so we are only dividing it in the two parts. So here just we are applying one cut set. So now in second cut set you can see that see, in this we have this is the tree and this is a tree. Means we have the two trees, and these are the links. For that we are performing the cut set. Now here we are cutting the elements. So we are cutting from this side, so cut set 2. So part 1 is the branch 1 to 2. It could be a dot, or we can say node or a branch. So that we already explained. So this is the branch, and the remaining element is 3 to 4. So this is the part 2. Now we can cut this over here also. So this part will become lonely. So means this is number 2, means from where we cutted the graph, and the remaining branches are 1 to 4 and 4 to 3. So this is how we can perform the cut set. Now for basic cut set, generally here you can see the direction of the cut set is shown. So here the arrow shows towards the number 1. Now here the arrow shows toward the number 2, and here the arrow shows towards the number 3. So this cut set number 1, cut set number 2 and cut set number 3. So here we have the cut set number 1. For that we have the part number 1, same we are applying. So this is a part number 2 for this cut set. Now for this one we have one branch, and this one a second branch. Now this is the cut set number 3. Over here we have this 3 branches and 1 dot. The main thing about this arrows shows that the direction of the cut set is towards the node number 1. The direction of the cutting is towards number 2. The direction of the cut set towards node number 3. So basic cut sets means are the cut set that divides the 3 into 2 parts. Means we have the 3 branches, and we are dividing that 3 branches into the 2 parts. So here it is cutted over here, so the 2 parts are like this. If we cut over here, then these are the the two parts which we divided. Means we divided this graph in this. Means this will become on the part number 1, and this will become the part number 2. So this is the basic cut sets. Now the next theory is primitive network. So this is the most important theory for the chapter. So basically the power system means consists of a number of elements. So here a power system network consists of number of elements that we already discussed, that we are using interconnected power system, so that we have the number of generators, number of transformers and number of transmission lines in the network. So we can say that it consists a number of elements, and each elements are connected between two nodes. So this is an important thing. Means here in the previous diagram we seen that each elements are connected between two nodes, because uh, this that forms the connection between two lines, incoming and outgoing lines. So these elements may be purely resistive, like impedance means Z or Y, or we can say active V or I, means it can be a uh, R and L type, means impedance and admittance type, and it can be a voltage source or current source. So that forms a node, and at which more than means one elements are connected. So in every power system, elements can be described by a set of unconnected elements which are collectively called the primitive networks. So generally in the power system, elements they described by a set of unconnected elements, means the elements which are not connected, and that elements are collectively called the primitive networks. And that forms the primitive network, means the elements which are not connected in the system. Now the data obtained from any power company will be in form of primitive network. So basically whenever we demanded a data from any load dispatch center, then load dispatch center will provide this data in terms of primitive network. And in terms of SLD, means single line diagram. In single line diagram, we have the primitive network. And basically there are two types of representation of primitive networks, means we represent primitive networks in two forms. First is impedance form, and second one is admittance forms. So this is how we can easily calculate any complex circuit with the help of primitive networks and graph theory. Now first is impedance form. So in impedance form, generally the performance equation of element A to B can be written in impedance form by referring this diagram. So here this is point A and point B, and we are transferring the transformation of the current is from A to B. So in this we have this EAB. This EAB is the source voltage in series with the network element AB, and this VA is the VA and VB both are the voltages at point. This VA is at voltage at point A, and VB is voltage at point B. Now in between we have this is EAB, that is voltage source in series with the network element A to B, and ZAB is the self impedance of the network element. So why this is called impedance Z? Because Z is a combination of R plus JX, and this is indicating that this is the impedance from A to B. Now the voltage across the VA node VA and V, means node A and B, is VAB is equal to VA minus VB. So the current for VAB will become IAB. Now here the means all the that means simplification of all the terms are written. So VA and VB are the voltage at A and B, VAB is the voltage across VAB, EAB is the source voltage in series with the network element AB, ZAB is the self impedance, IAB is the current through the network element. The main thing is the equation for Z is equal to V upon I. Now we have the two voltage sources over here, one is VAB and second one is EAB. So both are added, VAB plus EAB. Now this Z is equal to, means R is equal to what? R is equal to V upon I. So this is the V, and I is IAB. So when you write an equation, Z is equal to V upon I. So and V is suppose the V voltage present means is voltage across VA and VB, and the source which additional source which is applied between VA and VB. So the addition of these two voltages VAB plus EAB is equal to ZAB into IAB. Now we can replace it with the like this, means V will become V plus E become E, and EAB will become E, and ZAB will become mode Z. Means this will become this can be create a matrix, and IAB will become I. So the admittance, this is the in the previous theory, this is the impedance form. Why impedance form? Because this is the equation which is formed with the help of Z. Now for the admittance form, so admittance form, here the diagram is changed like this is the ZAB. Now suppose we want to draw a diagram, means reciprocal of ZAB, that is YAB. So this ZAB will become YAB, and current direction will become changed. So IAB is a combination of JAB plus IAB. So JAB is coming from this side and IAB is coming from this side. That's why this will be the addition of this two, and this is the node VB, means a node B at voltage is VB, and this is the node A at voltage is VA. Now VAB is again VA minus VB. So admittance form, in admittance form, the basically the network element can be can be represented by uh, IAB, JAB, YAB, VB, VA, and VAB. Now basically YAB is the self impedance of the network. Now what do you mean by self impedance? uh, the impedance means it's a resistance, and Y means admittance, it's a reciprocal of resistance. So it is a self impedance or self admittance of a network. Here we can write 1 upon Y, so this will become impedance. So YAB is the self admittance of the network, and JAB is the source between nodes A and B. So this is a source between A and B, it is connected over here. So the incidence matrix, suppose we want to write from this, so it is translate the graphical data of the network into the algebraic form. So this will help to convert a graphical data into the data of a network into the algebraic form. Now the algebraic form of this is y is equal to z is equal to what, v upon I. So here y is equal to I upon v. So YAB is equal to the two currents, means one source which is connected between terminal A and B, and this is the current which is means it is for the say it is the network current, means IAB. So IAB and JAB, we have the two currents, so IAB plus JAB, and with YAB we have the VAB. So Y is equal to reciprocal, means Z is equal to V upon I, so Y is equal to I upon V. So IAB plus JAB is equal to YAB into VAB. So this will become in the matrix form, this will become IAB will replace with I, JAB will replace with J, and Y is replaced with the matrix Y, and VAB will replace with the V. So generally this is a set of unconnected elements that are means depicted in diagrams, that constitute a primitive network, that forms a primitive network, and the performance equation of the primitive network will become V plus E is equal to Z into I, and I plus J is equal to Y into V. So this is how we can solve the primitive network. Why this is the why this network is called primitive network? Because these are the set of elements which are not connected in the transmission system, or not in the not connected into the network. So we can solve these elements with the help of admittance and impedance method. So first of all, we have to write the equation of this elements in terms of impedance and admittance. Then after, we can solve this with the help of matrix. So this is how we can solve the primitive network. Now the questions related to this topic is why we worksheet question, why we need to find out the solution in of interconnected power system based on the graph theory. So this is the worksheet question. And the assignment question, this is the printing mistake, this is the assignment question. Assignment question for this is what do you mean by primitive network, and explain all the definition related to the graph theory. So the related instructions are written below the worksheet questions and assignment question. Please read it carefully. You can take the snap of this, and if you have any doubt in this topic or any query, we can solve it in our doubt solving session. And also you can call me anytime, means you have my contact number, so feel free to call me. Thank you student. Jai Swaminarayan.